Halo. Oof. The franchise is really not in a good place, is it? Halo Infinite being the latest release, which has been received with meager reception. So right here on Steam, for example, you can see that recent reviews have been mixed, and overall reviews have been mostly positive, barely teetering that line at 70%. On Metacritic, we've seen that on Xbox Series X, the Metascore is actually pretty high, and the user score is in a decent place, namely due to the campaign. And then looking at the PC version, you can see that the scores are a little lower when it comes to Metascore, and the user score is in the yellow. It's far from the worst game ever or anything, and there are a lot of positive things to highlight about Halo Infinite. The campaign I thought was really solid, but I feel like there's more that they could give us on that front. But support for the campaign just kind of seems a little down in the dumps. And then when it comes to the multiplayer component, I don't need to tell you about all of the complaints surrounding its live service elements. The way the progression was designed in a way that really didn't offer players a sense of satisfaction, with progression being focused on completing challenges rather than just performing well in matches and leveling up. And for a while, Halo Infinite lost a lot of steam. You can see right here that it went from an all-time peak of 256,619 players on Steam, with a peak average players having reached six figures as well, 102,732. We went from 6 digits all the way down to 4 digits. Throughout the months, we saw the numbers dip into the 50,000 players average, 20,000, and then 10,000, eventually in the mid-thousands, all the way down to the low thousands. But then Forge released, which paved the road to user-generated content that has given Halo Infinite a bit of momentum during its lull. So we went from 2,721 average players on October of 2022 back up to the 4,000s. But this is still a far cry from Halo Infinite's peak. It's definitely lost a lot of steam because of the mishandling of the title at launch and the mismanagement that led to the myriad issues. Things only got more grim when Microsoft laid off 10,000 employees, which also impacted Xbox game studios such as Bethesda and 343 Industries, as reported here by Jason Schreier via this Bloomberg article whose headline reads, Microsoft cuts include game divisions behind Halo and Starfield, with Jason Schreier specifically noting on Twitter here that Microsoft won't share specific numbers, but several employees have told me that 343 Industries was hit hard. Optics weren't helped by the fact that among those who left 343 Industries was Halo Infinite's head of creative, Joseph Staten, who was responsible for the very first Halo games, or worked on the very first Halo titles, mostly focusing on story and characters. Staten was made project lead of the game's campaign mode. And there are a number of prominent figures in the gaming landscape who've talked about what a big loss it is to lose Staten. Former 343 Industries developers and employees also went out of their way to call out Microsoft's poor leadership and how that negatively impacted 343's ability to make the best version of games like Halo Infinite. So as Gene Park noted here, this is former Halo senior multiplayer designer chiming in by saying the layoffs at 343 shouldn't have happened and Halo Infinite should be in a better state. The reason for both of those things is incompetent leadership up top during Halo Infinite development, causing massive stress on those working hard to make Halo the best it can be. And it's not just Patrick Wren who shared these sentiments. According to Jason Schreier and the people he's spoken to, this mirrors what he's heard from many other Halo developers. We've seen other former 343 employees and Halo developers call out Microsoft's heavy reliance on contractors/vendors and that whole messed up system. Here's another former Halo developer who held nothing back in his scathing words against Microsoft. As a Halo fan, I'm really tired of Microsoft business practices and policies slowly killing the thing I love. Also making mention of the contracting policies that Microsoft abuse for tax incentives and layoffs. So yeah, you take the less than ideal critical and audience reception surrounding Halo Infinite, combined with the recent layoffs that impacted 343 Industries hard and severely, combined with employees speaking out about mismanagement that led to Halo Infinite's less than ideal launch, combined with the fact that Halo Infinite is just not in the best place that it could be, and it's lost a lot of steam and momentum, even if Forge helped a little bit. And we're looking at a situation where people are wondering what the future holds, not only for 343 Industries, but for the Halo IP. Is 343 going to continue developing Halo at this point? Is Halo in danger of just kind of being put on ice? Or will Halo continue as an IP? Can Halo Infinite come back from all of this? There's just a lot of distrust, confusion, and just a general sense of gloom surrounding not just Halo Infinite, but the future of the Halo IP and franchise as a whole. In fact, concerns surrounding the future of 343 Industries and the Halo IP got bad enough that the official Halo Twitter page had to put out the following statement, where they essentially had to reassure that 343 and Halo are not going anywhere. It reads right here, "Halo and Master Chief are here to stay. 343 Industries will continue to develop Halo now and in the future, including epic stories, multiplayer, and more of what makes Halo great. Signed, Pierre Hintz, studio head." With the current state of things, there was so much concern surrounding 343 Industries' ability to lead the Halo IP, the state of 343 in general, because of just employees speaking out and the layoffs that hit the studio pretty hard, combined with just the Halo IP being so down in the dumps right now, that 343 had to provide this assurance, and it's just kind of crazy to see that a flagship IP for Xbox even needs this kind of assurance. That tells you a lot about the current state of things surrounding the Halo franchise. Imagine if Nintendo one day came out and had to clarify and assure that Mario is not going anywhere. We're still going to keep making Mario games. There's more Mario ahead. Mario is not dead. Our ability to make Mario games is not gone. We're going to keep going at it. Or if PlayStation came out and said, The Last of Us series is not dead, we promise you, let me assure you that Naughty Dog will continue working on The Last of Us, and there'll be more epic stories to be told. And it's just, you wouldn't expect the necessity for this kind of statement for what is essentially Xbox's mascot, Master Chief, and the Halo IP. The Halo franchise just feels like it's starved for positive news and just a sense that the future is looking bright. But you know what'll make sure that you don't starve? The sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh, a company focused on streamlining your time and budget when it comes to delicious meals. Some folks like me are busy enough that thinking of what to cook and shopping for ingredients can be untenable, encouraging the habit of just buying more expensive takeout meals. But with HelloFresh, you can get right to the cooking thanks to their conveniently packaged and well-refrigerated fresh ingredients and quick-to-cook recipes that come with easy-to-follow instructions, all while saving money with what is a cheaper option than grocery shopping or takeout. I got sent ingredients for 3 recipes: pork and zucchini bibimbap, meatloaves with creamy thyme sauce, and Italian chicken over lemony spaghetti. I was most curious about the bibimbap, so I decided to try cooking it, and I found that the instructions made it super easy to quickly get everything set up and going. Once I was done, the dish ended up looking and tasting pretty damn good. I actually cleaned my plate and had a genuinely satisfying meal thanks to its generous portions. With tons of varieties of meals, recipes, diet preferences, and plans to sign up for, you'll be able to cook and eat with satisfaction while saving on precious time and money. If that sounds like it's up your alley, go to HelloFresh.com and use the code YONGYA21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. If only Halo fans could also feast with that level of satisfaction. As for what people's general reactions to this statement has been, well, people do want 343 Industries to succeed because we do want Halo to succeed. This grim-looking situation for Halo is not what anyone wanted. Everyone wanted Halo Infinite to knock it out of the park, especially because ever since 343 took over Halo, their mainline releases just have been less than satisfactory. Halo 4 and Halo 5 just weren't all that well received by Halo fans, and the Master Chief Collection, the launch state of that was pretty disastrous, and it took a while before the Master Chief Collection could make a comeback and win back the hearts and minds of Halo fans. So, there are definitely folks out there who are keeping their fingers crossed that the future can look brighter. You've got content creators like the Actman saying, whoever works on Halo, I just hope they finally get a consistent vision for the franchise. Susie Hunter here saying, if anyone can hopefully fix this, it's Pierre. That dude brought Master Chief Collection out of the depths of hell. Susie is not the first to share such a sentiment. Here's Gene Park, for example, who noted that the new studio boss, Pierre Hintz, was part of the Master Chief Collection turnaround, which is pretty much unanimously adored at this point. Pierre was also the one who wrote or at least signed this statement, so he seems resolute in bringing Halo back. And I hope the way he brought back Halo Master Chief Collection is indicative for what he can do for the franchise as a whole. But there are those who have been less trusting. You've got prominent content creators like Exet Jared here, who just tweeted L. And then below that, you've got folks like Chris Reagan saying 5th time's the charm. Because, to be fair, 343 Industries has made numerous attempts at mainline Halo entries, and so far, none of them have succeeded to the degree that they could have. Halo Infinite, I think, had the best hope, but even that had a botched launch. And while I've little doubt that former and current 343 employees speaking out against Microsoft's leadership is valid, and that there were leadership elements and mismanagements that did significantly contribute to Halo Infinite's woes, one still has to wonder whether 343 Industries is even the right fit for Halo at all, given the multiple attempts that they've made and how all of those attempts have on some level failed. Some have come to believe that 343 just doesn't have a good grasp on the Halo IP. I think Halo Infinite was the closest they got, especially with how they did try to capture the vibe of Halo 1 and capture the spirit of Halo 1. And you can see that the right ideas were there, but the execution, especially on the multiplayer front, was just so botched. And even on the campaign front, split-screen co-op is something that they decided to cancel, which is a marquee feature of Halo campaigns. Which is why when reviewer and content creator Skillup posted the following tweet, I found myself agreeing quite a bit here. He said, I still think it's time for another studio to have a crack at a mainline Halo game. Similar to Guerrilla, it would be nice to see 343 talent allowed to make something new, as it could lead to their Horizon moment, but I think Halo needs a new set of hands at this point. When one studio continuously fails on fully delivering on a Halo entry that's celebrated universally, maybe it is time to change things up a bit. Maybe it is time for a new studio to helm the IP. Maybe it's time for 343 to go on a journey of exploration and seek new creative outlets through just a brand new IP that they're better suited for, perhaps. Because at this point, history has repeated itself enough when it comes to 343's inability to deliver on a critically acclaimed Halo entry. I feel like that's just writing on the wall, clearly spelling out that it's time for completely new management to take over Halo. Not to say that I wish for 343 to not succeed in their future endeavors. It looks like 343 is still committed to making more Halo down the line. But it's just, I'm wondering, how many times do we have to go through this before 343 finally nails a Halo entry? And with future entries, will it continue this cycle, or can they actually pull it back and show us that there is hope yet for the Halo IP with 343 at the helm? I hope 343 can ultimately end up proving these sentiments wrong. Hopefully they can, down the line, show us that the Halo IP is in good hands now that they've learned from so many mistakes throughout so many years. But it's just the patience and the trust is running out. And I'm not the only one who feels like there's something wrong with a flagship IP when the development studio has to post a statement like this. It's wild to think that we've gotten to a point where Microsoft and 343 have to put out a message reassuring everyone that Halo, their flagship IP, isn't going away. Again, imagine if Nintendo did this with Mario, or PlayStation did it with Last of Us. It's just so crazy to think about. Imagine a situation where people thought maybe Mario should go to another development studio, or maybe Last of Us should go to another development studio that is a Naughty Dog. Part of the intention with this statement is to reassure people that it will be 343 Industries who will be continuing to helm Halo. The first public statement from 343 Industries since this week's big layoff is a denial of rumors suggesting that the company plans to outsource all Halo development, that 343 will no longer be responsible for the Halo IP. It doesn't seem to be the case. Though, no mention that dozens of employees were laid off, which is rather unfortunate that they wouldn't at the very least issue some kind of public statement about just how unfortunate that situation is. Though I imagine that the Microsoft overlords are likely restricting aspects of communications on that front because they don't want the PR to get worse. But regardless, it just hurts to see Halo like this. You know what I mean? Just a shadow of its former self. I'm not a huge Halo fan per se, but I felt the impact that Halo had when that first launched back in the Xbox days, and I continued to feel its impact throughout the course of my coverage and just my involvement in the games industry. And I just never imagined we'd get to a point where Halo would have to reassure people that it's not dead, where the development studio behind Halo would have to come out and reassure people that we are still gonna keep making Halo, and Halo and Master Chief aren't going anywhere. I guess only time will tell what the future holds for the Halo IP. I don't think it's hopeless for Halo, or for even 343 Industries, especially with Pierre now at the helm, who again did lead Master Chief Collection to a major comeback. Maybe he can pull it off for both the studio and the Halo IP as a whole. I truly do wish him and 343 the best of luck, as much as I, on some level, would prefer if Halo go to another studio at this point, because 343's had so many chances, and it just feels like they've botched those chances so much. Though maybe leadership and the mismanagement surrounding that played a strong enough role that, if leadership can get its shit together, maybe 343 Industries can have the road paved to allow them to actually make the Halo game that they're able to make, because I have little doubt that there's plenty of talent within the studio, but there are definitely elements of mismanagement that seem to have gone in the way of Halo Infinite's success and its ability to be able to be developed in a smooth enough environment where the launch could have turned out just significantly better for both the campaign and the multiplayer component. They had the right idea with Halo Infinite, at least. It's just a matter of, execution for the future, improving, and hopefully seeing Halo just become more relevant. Again, Halo is too important for too many people, too dearly beloved, and lives too dearly in the hearts and minds of gamers for it to go out like this. So let's keep those fingers crossed. But until then, these are the kinds of sentiments we're seeing surrounding Halo Infinite after the recent woes surrounding the Halo IP and 343. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on the current state of Halo and 343 Industries, what your experience has been like with Halo Infinite if you've checked it out recently, and what your general hopes and prospects are for Halo and 343 down the line. Share your thoughts below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.